Hello, how's it going? Let me just check everything's working. The mic seems to be on. We've got vertical stream and horizontal streaming as well. It looks like we're live on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and not Facebook. It doesn't seem to be working on Facebook. I think I actually have to press something on Instagram to push it properly live as well. Go live. Alright. Nice. We're live on Instagram. Live everywhere except Facebook, which for some reason just isn't getting the stream. Oh well. We can make do. So, I haven't streamed for 2 weeks, which means I haven't worked on this game for 2 weeks. I've been cutting a few TikTok videos out of the previous streams, but the TikTok videos I've been making a few weeks behind now as well. So we're going to have to jump in to the game and try to remember where we got up to. So let's have a look. This scene, here we go. So now you can see Unity. I deleted everything basically in the scene because now I think in code we generate the scene as we go. Sort of what I remember. Hello, we've got Fassive. Are you 24? Yes. Caught me. I'm also 36, depending on how you measure age. I was born 36 years ago. Alright, so as you can see, when I press play, it generated the level. So I think that's what we were working on when we last worked on the game 2 weeks ago. How long till it's not using basic assets? We could start putting some in. There's a few bits I want to kind of get done before we do that. So we've got enemies that chase you. The levels generated procedurally. There's these doors that you can like destroy, which is pretty fun. Yeah, there's health. You've got your health as well. You can die, so I've got to be a bit more careful. No, they can't pathfind at the moment. Don't have any pathfinding, so we could do that. At the moment, they're always trying to move towards your direction. This one is trapped outside because I'm generating them in spheres and I'm not procedurally putting the spheres in rooms. 20 minutes to set up NavMesh. I cannot confirm or deny that because I don't think I've actually used Unity NavMesh before. But if that actually takes 20 minutes, that feels like that could be a doable thing. It's so simple. You're really selling it. You're making it sound possible. Maybe we do try and set that up then. Alright, you've convinced me. Let's have a go at setting up NavMesh. And you're an ex-game dev, so you know what you're talking about. Alright, let's have a look. So I'm going to look in Package Manager. Let's have a look. Package Manager. I think NavMesh is like in the sort of built-in Unity list. If I look in the Unity registry. That's loading. Did I just sort of disintegrate into particles or something then? That was weird. NavMesh doesn't come up, but let me scroll through. What would it come under? AI navigation, NavMesh. Yeah, it's weird because there's obviously AI as in AI that everyone talks about now, and AI as in enemies in games, and it's confusing that people use that to mean both of those things. Okay, so this is importing now. It looks like you can't see overlay windows, just the background window. So it probably looks like I'm doing nothing at the moment. But I'm importing this NavMesh thing. Somebody on YouTube says, I love Arch Linux. I don't know what that is. I've never used Linux, so I don't really know anything about it. Alright, I have added navigation, I think. I'm just scrolling to see if there's anything else, but it looks like we're good. Alright. Cool. So, I've installed NavMesh. Now do I just like right click and click? Okay, so I can add a NavMesh surface or a NavMesh link or a modifier volume. I'm just going to add NavMesh surface. Agent type humanoid. Or what does this mean? Humanoid sounds about right. Radius 0.5, yeah, that's correct. Height 2. I don't think they are too high, are they? Let's have a look actually. So we've got prefabs enemy. Our enemy is, if we load our enemy there, yeah, it's 2 units high, so that's correct, and 0.5 wide. And the step height, oh, how high can it step up? 0.75 seems fair. Loving the hair, thank you. Tried to make it go red, but would you have said red or would you have said it was pink? I feel like it's, I don't know what I would say. Would I say that's red? It's like halfway between pink and red. Okay, so max slope height is 45 degrees. We could probably leave that. Ah, drop height. Let's just put 0 and jump distance 0. That's cool. So NavMesh can actually learn to jump across things as well. I had no idea. Didn't know. Areas. Oh, look at this. Walkable, not walkable, and jump. Okay. So I think that makes sense. So let's go back to the scene, I suppose. Do I add a component to the enemy that's called like nav? Oh look, NavMesh agent. So I add NavMesh agent to the enemies. Okay. Obstacle avoidance, steering, it all sounds fine. Maybe we just use all the defaults. Okay, interesting. Then, after we've got that, if we go back to the game, we need to create the actual NavMesh surface, I guess. So this says object collection determines how to select objects. defines which objects to use for baking. Will this be an issue? I can't bake the nav mesh because I make the scene at runtime. If enabled, collected objects will generate unidirectional links according to drop height and jump distance. Maybe let's add a new component called nav mesh manager, and then let's try in this script to see, can we like tell it to bake at runtime? Maybe we can. So this is a Visual Studio now. I'm using to code everything. So let's just put that back down again. Open this, edit scripts. There we go. So we have a nav mesh. It's just waiting to load for some reason. Okay, nav mesh surface. And we'll call that. Oh no, why is Visual Studio going slow? That's annoying. Every time I type anything, it like says it's not responding. Alright, there we go. Nav mesh surface. Oh no, it's doing it every single time. There we go. Do I need to do using like Unity Engine.navmesh or something? Right clicked it. Yeah, using unity.ai.navigation. Okay, cool. So let's do public void bake nav mesh. Okay, and then okay, there we go. If nav mesh surface is null, get the component, but we could actually just do requires component there. There we go. What was that? Me when the nav mesh is undercooked and I need nav mesh cookies. Baking is a funny word to use for making a mesh. It sounds a lot more appealing than it is. Alright, so in theory, don't want to speak too soon. We'll serialize that. We'll go to our game manager and when it generates for level, we will tell it to generate the nav mesh after it's done. So we start a game, despawn everything, open the lift doors, but where do we generate the map? Procedural floor generator. Oh, we just do it. We generate the floor as soon as the level starts. Say 6-7. He said the meme. Alright, we can delete that now. So maybe we don't want to do this, but for now it's fine for us to do this. We generate it, generate the floor, and then place the rooms, place the floor, do all that. And now that it is being generated, generate nav mesh here. So let's go up to here. We'll have here a private nav mesh manager, and then we'll add in a serialized field. And then we can just like link that in the inspector, and then we can do nav mesh manager dot bake nav mesh now that we've generated our level. Ruby's just asking if she left a book in here, but I can't see it. Okay, so generate nav mesh there. Let's just see what happens, because I've not done this before, so I don't know how it will work, if it'll work, what it will do. Alright, let's press play and just see what happens. So we do have the nav mesh agent script on our enemies, and now we have the nav mesh manager that built, so the level got built, but the nav mesh surface, it has one. I don't know how we can view it. Is there a way to view the nav mesh? Nav mesh data. Oh, okay, look. Let's pause it. If I hide all the walls, will we be able to see if the nav mesh worked? It looks like it's done something around the edges of the rooms. Like, but maybe it doesn't understand what to do with the doors, because there, it doesn't seem to have connected it. So if I basically take everything in the scene and I just disable it just to see what happens. Shroop. Did that work? Okay, so it has made a nav mesh, but it hasn't understood the doorways, which is fine. I think we can put them as like obstacles or something. How do we get it to update to know when they are destroyed or something though? Okay, where's our door prefab? Is it in room prefabs? It is. So our door, I think we can say nav mesh obstacle on it. Okay, and it has a box collider. So if we say this is also like, no, not wall. 0.2. Is that about right? Let's see how big the door is. 0.3 by 2 by 3. 0.3 by 2 by 3. Carve. What does carve mean? It cuts a hole in the nav mesh around it. Cuts a hole. Okay. Carve only stationary. Let's not carve a hole then. Just to see what happens. Save project. Okay. Play. Let's see what happens. Start game. Let's have a look back on the actual map now. The nav mesh still seems to have not ignored doors, if that makes sense. Unless it's because... No, it's not. I thought maybe it's because the doors are obstacles, but it's still... It hasn't like regenerated this bit of the nav mesh. So what do we need to do to make that happen? We might need to use like a layer for the doors or something. Are they on a separate layer? No. Oh, maybe we tick the carve. Carve. Let's try that. We'll carve, add it to the nav mesh, because that sounds like it'll take it out of the nav mesh. Okay, this is what we want when there is a door, but like when you destroy the, oops, let me just, it didn't regenerate it when I destroyed that door. And it's not regenerating those ones. Can they now come... Oh, they can't go through there now. Because of the nav mesh issue. Okay. That is interesting. So let's go back to our nav mesh surface. Use geometry, the physics colliders, presumably. And then define which objects used for baking. That's a bit different. Alright, press play again. Let's have a look. Rubik's Cubed. How's it going? Ooh, anything very American from British point of view. Well, you gotta do like... Do we have IHOP now? We might have IHOP now. But you should definitely do like all the American restaurants is a big one. Okay, so let's try and destroy some of these now and see if the nav mesh regenerates. No, it doesn't. So what am I doing wrong with that then? Something else was a bit weird there with the... No, not the things. let's also generate links according to drop height. I mean, I guess we can put it on a separate layer. I don't like to use layers if I can avoid it. Just because, I don't know. Let's call it dynamic because it changes. It's not like static. Alright. Okay, let's go back and then I think we can click ignore on dynamic there. Okay, so maybe that will fix the issue. Save project, save, play. Portion size. Yeah, every time I've been to America, the portion size has been bigger. I quite like it. I enjoy food, so it's quite good. What's weird is the lift doesn't seem to have carved any space out. Also, the nav mesh is on the ceiling rather than on the floor. Okay, start game. See, it like pauses when you destroy one of those things. But the nav mesh isn't getting like rebaked. Well, he's up on the ceiling then. They're all up on the ceiling now. Okay. Let's not use physics colliders, just use render meshes again. You can collect only the nav mesh modifier component stuff. Let's try that. And we'll just include layers everything. And then if we go to our walls, where's our walls? Prefab, room prefabs. Let's go to wall with door and then go on our walls, and then can we add like nav mesh modifier? Add or modify objects. Remove object. All. Let's press play and see if that does anything. I don't know if it will or not. I don't quite understand how that works. We might have to like look it up how to do this, 'cause let's see. Do we have a nav mesh even now? I don't see any nav mesh. Guess that didn't work. Object collection. Alright, I'm going to look up how to do it because I'm already confused. How to use nav mesh in Unity 6. Okay, so add a nav mesh surface. We've done that. Bake it. We can't bake it because we generate everything at runtime. Okay. Okay, so we want to include everything, and we'll add all game objects, and we use the physics collider. Dynamic obstacles. Okay, so we've got the nav mesh surface that collects everything. Then we need to use the door should have a nav mesh obstacle. Enable the carve option. Carve only stationary. Oh, yeah, carve only when it is stationary. That makes sense. That didn't seem to work though. Like when I press play. I do need a potion for nav mesh apparently, because I cannot get this to work. So that's our nav mesh, which has worked, but and that's carved the door out. The nav mesh is on the ceiling though. I don't know quite why that is. But okay. And then where are we? Where are we? There we are. Is that us? You have lost. Restart game. Alright. Oh, look at that. What's gone wrong there? There's no way out to the rest of the rooms. That's no good. That's a bug we need to fix. Play again. Okay, so start game. We leave the elevator. If we just tried this one, it doesn't regenerate. It doesn't regenerate the nav mesh. Learn how to control obstacles. So the nav mesh isn't rebaking when an obstacle is destroyed. So let's have a look at how to do that. So Unity 6 nav mesh not rebaking when a nav mesh obstacle is destroyed in the scene. Do you have to manually tell it to rebake? That's weird. I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought that, like, it would just be fine. Oh. So, I think it's because I ticked to... let me find it. Door. I ticked to only carve stationary, but that's not true, because turning it off counts as it not being a static object anymore. So if I press play now, when I destroy it now, it should know something has changed, and it should rebake it, but it's not rebaking it. Oh, really? You have to dynamically rebake it all? So if the object has carving off, is that better? Best thing to do for a door. I feel like games don't normally rebake the whole nav mesh when a door is opened. And that fills the doorway. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so I think the way to do it will be to build height mesh. What does that do? We don't want to bake the height in. Let's go to our door. So I think you can turn this carve on and off dynamically, which is interesting. With our door, do we actually destroy it, or what do we do? We set active to false. We don't actually destroy the door. Okay, that's good then. We can have a reference here. Serialize field private nav mesh obstacle, and then we do nav mesh obstacle dot carving equals false. No, equals true, because the door's active. When the door's destroyed, we will set carving to false. Save. That might work. Okay, so play. Start game. Let's see. Okay, we've got our nav mesh. It seems to have crashed though. Oh, it paused. Why did it pause? Was there an error? Oh, I didn't set the nav mesh on the doors. In here. There. Shoop. There we go. Play. Okay, start game. It worked. Did you see that? There was a nav mesh there. Like a hole for the door. Like here. If I shoot this... Oh, I died. Where's the lift? There's the lift. Okay, so he can't come through. Oh, he might be able to climb over. Yeah. But then, if I destroy that, there's now nav mesh there. Nice. Look, it's getting generated at runtime. Well, we're not even generating it at runtime. We're just disabling whether it carves out or not. Okay, so these floating enemies, though, a bit weird, isn't it? Why is the nav mesh floating in the sky? Is the question now. Yeah, when could co-workers climb over walls? So nav mesh surface. We don't actually... Yeah, it is quite a cool mechanic. I hadn't even considered. I just assumed there'd be like a ceiling. But the idea that they can like climb over is pretty cool. No, there's literally like the nav mesh is in the air. And I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. It's because of this shooting plane. Basically, and is that in the air? That's a 2. Is it a 2 or is it a 1.5? Okay. So this mouse shoot thing we want to take out of the nav mesh. So don't include the mouse shoot layer. Save. 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 Alright, and then these, the lift. Why was the lift not getting carved out? I guess nav mesh obstacle. And I can make that like 3 by 3 by 3. And then enemies won't come into the lift. Or 2 even. And raise it up to 1. Cool. Apply all. Alright, so let's see now what happens. Play. Start game. Okay. Alright, so the enemy is on the floor now, which is good. They can't move in there though. Huh. We're back to the issue from before. It's getting blocked off for some reason there. Okay, now when I'm destroying the doors, it's not sorting that out. Maybe if this was render meshes again. Let's start again. Oops. Yeah, we'll use physics colliders. I mean, we won't use player bullets, enemies, UI, water, raycast, transparent. Just use default and dynamic. And then what does this mean? Allows you to cull away the small regions disconnected from the larger nav mesh. Maybe we need to make that smaller so it's like 1. Maybe that'll fix it. Maybe the gap, like the doorways, are too small to be counted or something. Start game. So it's cutting. It's weird because like it thinks you can walk through here, but not here, which is a bit odd. And where am I? Here. When I destroy that, it's still not fixing the nav mesh. Save. I'm going to take build height mesh just to see what happens. Start game. See, it's not rebuilding that. Didn't change anything on the door. Where's the lift? Lift. If I disable or enable carve, oh, I just cut it out. Okay. So doors are set to carve. I suppose stationary is fine. It doesn't move. So try again, play. Start game. Go back to the map. So if I destroy this, it's not regenerating it. It's not working. Nav mesh. Surface. Let's turn this back to render meshes. That seemed to work better. Save. Play. Start game. Now it looks weird again. Somewhat weird going on with it. So carve is disabled. It is carving something out of there. Something else is sort of blocking it off though. Maybe the child object? Could it be because I have this on the parent object, not on the child? Not there, on the door. Like maybe this needs to be on the active door itself. And it looks like it's the same size. Maybe that will do it. Save, save, play. Possibly. Still doing something weird there. Let's start game, let's see. Okay, that put the door back in. That worked. Okay, this seems to be working. The only weird thing is some bits look like it seems to think you can go through that wall there. So maybe the walls are too slim for what we're trying to do. Or maybe I change it from render meshes back to physics colliders. Save. Save. Play. It could be the voxel size. Maybe it's too small or too big. That worked. Okay, that seems to be working, except for it seems to think you can go through that, but you cannot. Wait, did we try changing back to render meshes? Try that one. No, that's got the gap again. Physics. Maybe we need to override the voxel size. 3 voxels per agent radius. Well, we would want 5. .1. What happens when I say like? Okay, so the so let's try 0.1. Save. I think 0.2 should have been big enough because the wall's 0.2. But no. See, that's weird that this wall isn't counting. Oh, I put these on. That's when I didn't quite understand what was going on. I knew it would be something silly. There we go. If we remove that. Cool. Now when we do it, it should work. We can probably put the voxel size back up again. Cool. Okay. So our nav mesh now, built at runtime, contains all of the floor space within our floor. And then if we start game and destroy some of these doors, yeah, see, now they can come through. Oops. And then if I destroy this one, they should be able to come and chase me in here. Yeah, look at this. We're dynamically creating the nav mesh at runtime. Okay, so they're not managing to figure their way around here, but the reason for that is I'm not telling them to do that at the moment. So if we save this, we go back to our enemies, which are in here. At the moment, I'm just telling them to like move towards the player, but we should change how that works by using this nav mesh agent thing, I suppose. I'm just going to Google how to do that. How to get agent to chase player on nav mesh Unity 6. This is our current code of how we chase the player. Let's keep this script though, just in case we need it again. Move towards player. We'll just remove this now. We'll add a new script called nav agent chase, because we're going to chase after the player and we're using our nav agent. Okay, so we're going to need a reference to our nav mesh agent, this agent, and we're going to want to require that. Okay, we're going to want transform target, or I'll call it target. It's going to be the player though. And then we can do public void get player target. That basically. And then in awake, awake, we'll do this agent get component that, or if this agent equals null, get that. And we'll serialize that so we could just set it as well. And then in awake, in update even, we'll do this. If target equals null, get player target. If target doesn't equal null, then we can set destination to the target position. Okay. So a few things we want to set, apparently. We want to set a we want to set if doesn't equal null, then update rotation equals true, because we want to face our target. We want to have this agent stopping distance equals, we'll make a new variable, serialized fields, stopping distance within 1 maybe equals stopping distance. Auto braking is false. Okay, and then we need some things here. So we need a serialized field, float, repath interval equals 0.1 seconds. That might just be one word, repath. So we'll do a float repath timer sounds good. Equals 0. So if repath timer is less than the interval repath interval, then repath timer plus time.delta time. And then sort of return. Otherwise, get a player target, set destination to be the target's position, the player's position. Else, this is actually just for repath in there, so maybe we do that. If it's null, get player target, else do all this. Okay. So if the repath timer is less than the repath interval, add time on. Else it's over that, so we need to do this again. Okay, and get a new position. Okay, let's try now. Play. Exit prefab mode, I suppose. Oh, I didn't attach that properly, so it's not going to work. Well, I didn't think it'd work, but navmesh agent is this navmesh agent. Stopping distance 1 sounds about right. Okay, save. Play. Excuse me. Okay, start game. In theory now, I've got rid of the script that was moving the enemies. So now they should just move towards me. Weirdly though, oh look, the health is rotating. Okay. We can sort that out. But that means they are turning to face me. And they are able to pathfind. It's working because he came around the corners. So the only problem is if they can't get to me, they still go to the corner, and if it's not possible, they shouldn't be able to do that. But look at this, they're like pathfinding and they know which way to go around. Ooh. And when you get closer, they'll pivot directions. That's pretty cool. So look at that. but if they can't pathfind to you, so like they are not able to get to me, they shouldn't be trying to get to me. They should just do other things. So how do we check? Is it possible to get to that position? Check if possible to reach target, or if path is blocked. Oh. That don't work. If this agent dot path status, the status of the current path, complete, partial, or invalid. That's path. Calculate path. Okay. How do I check? Is path potentially? Is path stale? Not that. Path. Check. No. Gonna have to Google it because I don't know. How to check if a nav mesh path in Unity 6 is walkable before setting it as the target. Okay, I've asked ChatGPT instead. See if that knows. It's quite good at coding things like that. You can pre-flight the route before you commit the agent to it. Okay. So we use navmesh calculate path rather than okay. Mesh path. Okay, so what we do is we go up here, we have a nav mesh path, reusable path, because we're going to keep reusing this, equals new nav mesh path. And then here, instead of setting it, we can just do nav mesh reusable path dot calculate how do we set that then? Sample position is what? Equals new path. Only clear corners. Nav mesh dot calculate path. Oh, okay. Oh, you pass it in, and I guess it's like an out, is it? No. I think that might work though. Nav mesh. This agent dot sample position. Wow. Okay, so we know the transform position, target position, all areas, and using the path. Then how do we know okay, if reusable path status equals path complete, then set the path. Or set the destination at least. Else, maybe we don't do anything. We just sort of leave them in place. Wait. And they'll just try again next one. And then we'll just reset the repath timer to 0. Might work. You're so cute, bro. Thank you. I'm guessing it's the hair. We just did it today. We were trying to go for red, but I think it is more pink than red. Kiko, hello. And fried chicken. What are you doing? I'll show you. So we're doing nav mesh today. First time I've ever used it. Has been a bit confusing, but I think we might have got it. So I'm going to press play and see. Let's see if it works or not. Start game. So enemies should start spawning in, and they don't move if they can't get to you. That looks like it's worked. They don't move because it's broken. There's an error. Okay, let's see what the error is. Oh. Well, both of those should be true. That's weird. Oh, you can't create a new mesh path like that. Let's just do it like that then, I suppose. But you probably do still need to call like a new nav mesh path though. Start game. Okay, we have a nav mesh. We got an error. something is not set to... So... The transform position should just be the position of this. The target position is not null. This must be null. Okay. So I guess I'll do reusable path equals new nav mesh path. Yeah, I think I had to initialize it. I had it on like the start where you declare it or whatever, but apparently that was no good. Okay, play. Alright, start game. Let's see, pause, full screen, unpause. So an enemy spawns in and doesn't move. This one is chasing me because he can get to me. If I go through some doors, I'll just kill him. See, I busted that door open and he started charging at me. So he's running at me because he can get to me. They're smart. They can, and then if I bust this door open, he's gonna start running at me as well. Same with these ones, and yeah. So that's what you'd want to happen. Once the door is being broken in, they can just start running towards you. That's cool. Whee. If I wait here, they'll come round and then I can just smash this door open and run. Nice. Do the same again here. It's pretty cool. Extremely fragile doors, yeah. I just thought rather than opening doors, it'd be fun just to like shoot and explode the doors. We could give the doors more health. It wouldn't. Restart game. 100%. 100% we should give them more health, or it's better than just opening doors. I like that you can kind of trap them and sort of lure them around different rooms. What game is this? It's one we've been making. I think I've spent 15 hours making this so far. Well, 16 and a half hours now. You've won. Restart. This is quite fun. I really like the chasing, and I like that they now just sort of wait until you get them. We probably will want to make it so instead of doing that, they sort of just pace around the room they're in. They just work. So maybe they like walk around the office. Maybe we want them to be able to open and close doors. Maybe not. Maybe they just stay in the room until you're ready to go in. I hadn't planned on doing that, but maybe that would be quite fun as well. Just to hide the rooms you haven't been in yet. Oh, you can wait in the lift now. You can hide in the lift. Because they can't get to you while you're in there. Found the hack. Look, I'm invincible in the lift. Easy. Yeah, they don't have permit, don't have authorization to go in the lift. So there's a whole bunch of things we still need to do. It's just picking which ones we can be bothered to do. We're halfway through the stream, so we've still got an hour and a half left. Shall I go through what we could do? We could make it so enemies can come in the lift. We could make a new type of enemy that will only run towards you if they can see you. And if you like hide, they won't run towards you. It's like they've got like a vision. That could be quite cool. We could make enemies that shoot at you. We could make it so some of the rooms fuse together to make bigger rooms. So it's not all just one room blocks. We could add corridors in. Opening sections at a time. We could hide rooms you've not been in yet. Could be cool. What else could we do? I don't know. I don't know what would be good to do next. Feels like there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, different type of enemy where it looks at you and then it just runs really fast in that direction until it hits a wall and then it stops and then same again. Meeting room in there, 4 of them. We could do the enemies wandering around. We could fix these UI bars. Let's fix the UI bars. That feels like easy enough thing to do. So where is the enemy here? The UI bar is at an angle like that. 3045. Let's 0, 0, and this canvas we'll put at 3045. Oh no, that's too weird. It should be that one thing is 3045. Okay, so we want this to always look at the camera. So we can add a new script, have it called always face camera. And then is the camera at 3045 then? I'm supposing it is. Serialize field. Oh, camera, I suppose. Camera, main camera. In awake, main camera is camera main. Update. We'll do this. If the main camera doesn't equal null, the direction to the camera is main camera transform position minus transform position. We don't actually want it to look at the camera though, we want it to look at the direction that the camera is facing, well, the opposite direction of that. So let's delete this. We'll do direction camera is facing equals main camera transform forward. Yeah. No, we don't want to do that. We'll do this dot transform dot rotation equals quaternion dot look rotation minus the direction the camera is facing. So always look in the opposite direction that the camera is looking. Should work. Let's go back. Play. Maybe we want to add like a face or some eyes onto the enemy capsule just so we can see which direction they're facing. So in theory, we can see that enemy health. If we let the enemies come out and chase us, their health should always face the same way. So that seems to have worked. Cool. Let's put one of those on the player as well. So if we go to enemy, HP bar, always face camera, copy that. Overrides, apply all, sure. So now, because that's a HP bar that is shared, maybe the player has that one on as well. Yeah, nice. That's already fixed. Cool, we fixed that. That was quick. Are the characters going to look better? Yes, hopefully. At the moment, what I'm trying to do is to make everything using Unity shapes, and then that way I can just concentrate on making the game feel fun. And if the game feels fun, once you make it look good, it will be fun still. But sometimes if you make the art look too good, it can disguise the fact that the game isn't that fun. So let's put some eyeballs on this enemy. Sphere. Mm, 0.1. 0.1. 0.1. I do think it is worth adding some eyes on, just because then we can see which direction they're facing. So I don't think this counts as adding art really, since it's literally just two spheres on top of what we've got. There we go, that'll do for one eyeball. And then this one. There we go. Do we want to add a mouth as well? Let's add a mouth. Capsule. Rotate it 90. No. There goes crazy. Thank you. We dyed it today, so it's probably brighter than it will be soon. 0.2. There we go. They don't look very happy, but that'll kind of do, won't it? Do I have any materials set up? I've just got different colours. No. I'll just call this white. And I'll just make it white. And then I'll apply it to this eyeball as well. And then I'll make one that's black. Color black. And we'll do color white for that one. Color white. And then I can share materials between things that are going to be the same color. So it's color black. We'll just choose black. There we go. Should we add pupils to the eyes as well? Why not? If we just zoot. Color black. Make it smaller, like 0.15, 0.15, 0.15. There you go. Copy that transform there, copy component, paste onto this one, paste component values, there we go. Alright. Okay, so let's see what this looks like now. Save. Do the enemies have faces in the right direction? Takes its time. It's that high resolution new artwork I just added. Alright, so we don't have a face. But the enemy over here has a face. Whoa, he's coming. Oh no, they look way more scary with faces. Oh no. Look at him go. Whoa. Dear. Look at the art skills that I've displayed there. Oh no. Look at him. Oh no, what happened? An error when I destroyed one. Trying to add enemy clone to the pool, but it is already pooled. Oh, it could be because there's colliders on the eyeballs. That would be weird, but that could be what it is. I got an eye shot. Hit the eye and it broke. Enemy, where's the enemy? Prefabs. Enemy. If I take all the colliders off of these, yep. Save. 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 Should we copy and paste these and put these onto the player as well, so they have a face? Let's do it. Player. Oh, why did that not work? Oh, it did work. They're just very far away from the player. Let's undo that. Let's position the player at 0-0. It is at 0-0. Where's the enemy position then? Oh, 15. Put that at 0 as well. Okay. Then grab all that, copy, go to the player, paste. The player has a face. There we go. Save. Save. Play. Exit prefab mode. Pause. Full screen. Go. Start game. Oh, look at that. We've got face. Okay, so we don't change direction to the direction we're facing, which we probably should do. We can fix that. The enemies do, though. They turn and face. I think they should turn faster because look at that. There was like a really slow, weird rotation when he changed directions. See that? That's weird. I think it should be way faster to turn. So let's have a look. Navmesh agent. Angular speed is 120. So the maximum turning speed in degrees while following a path. So probably like 360 in 1 second. Should be able to rotate all the way around. Maybe. Exit prefab mode. I feel like that's probably going to be fast enough. Because then in half a second they can do like a 180 spin round. Alright, let's wait till there's a few and then try and sneak up on them and see if they turn around to face the right way. We need to fix where they spawn as well, so they spawn in rooms. But we can do that later as we go. Alright, let's go around here and try. Okay, they seem to turn okay, but let's try and get them to change directions a bit. Oh, that was pretty good. Does that look good on Twitch? Like that? When they change around, when they pivot. Zoot. Oh, I'm still showing code. You've missed all the exciting visuals of that. Let's go back. I'll show you. Play. Start game. Pause. Full screen. Play. Using OBS. Yeah, Streamlabs OBS. Alright. So this is how quick they turn around. If I shoot here, you'll see him turn around like that. That seems pretty good. Like when they do a 180 and go the opposite way. It could be faster even though. Like that was pretty good, like a head turn. Like that. Even just adding eyes on has made quite a big difference. They look like weird potatoes. It's like Pac-Man but potatoes. Ooh. Okay, let's try these ones. It's pretty good. It's weird when the eyes have the outline shader on when they don't look like they should have. Let's see what's causing that. So on the enemy, if we go to highlight effects, include children. Oh, we do want to include children, but not all of them. Legal logic the name contains this text. Ah. Only include objects whose names contain this text. So, what should we call it? Highlight. Highlightable. And then we'll just stick that only on the capsule itself. Capsule, we'll call that capsule highlightable. And then the eyes won't do that weird effect, just the body. Save, save. We'll do that on the player as well. So, highlight effect. Include children, but only highlightable, and then we'll put that only on the capsule. Save. Cool. Let's just press play and see if that works. Start game. I think that was still working on the eyes. Yeah. Not for the enemies though. The enemies seem to be working okay. It's just on the... oh, not maybe, actually. I think that was doing something weird where it still counts as if it's blocking the capsule, even though it's on the eyeball, if that makes sense. That's weird. Let's have a look. So I'll combine all the meshes. Combine meshes of all objects in this group affected by the highlight effect. Suppose. Should I have even if object is not visible? We could just click only this object. Oh, but it's not only this object. It is a child of this object. Oh, you can add a fade duration as well. That's quite cool. Alright, if we click combine meshes. It's not affected by... no, I don't think that would work, would it? Oh yeah, you're right, that would work, because then it'll treat it all as one. Yeah, and then we don't even have to put in the weird expression thing, do we? The object name filter. Cool. Highlight. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think you're right, it does duplicate it or something. It's something I got off the asset store, that one, the highlighter effect. Alright, let's try, see what happens now. Play, start game. So yeah, that's working. Like, I'm blocked, but my eyes are not looking weird. Same, yeah, that's how it works now. The combine mesh thing fixed it. Thank you. I'm going to try the fade one, just because it is a bit abrupt when it like puts it on. It said something about fade in duration, fade out duration. Let's try 0.5 on both. And same for the player. See if that looks good or looks hideous. it could look hideous. It's very possible. Start game. Full screen. Oh. Is that fading? I don't think that's fading. I think that's just instantly on. That's weird, isn't it? Enemy. Try large value, yeah, just to see if it's working. Oh, it has an alpha cutoff. Is that to do with... no, it's not that. Yeah, let's just try higher value and see what happens. Oh, it's gone back to 0. That's weird. Let's set it to like 2. Oh, yeah, maybe you have to save it when you change the settings. Let's put it at 1 and save. And then go back to the player. 0.5. That's weird. 1 and save. Go back to the enemy. Is it 1? Weird. Play. I'm imagining that's like time in seconds to do it. What are we currently doing? So, we've got a lot done this stream. If I press start, basically we've got faces on the players and the enemies. And the enemies, when they spawn in a room and they can't get to you, they just stand there. But if they can get to you, they can nav mesh and find their way over to you, and they will chase you. And they can like turn corners, and their faces point in the correct direction. The fading's not working. It's supposed to fade the transparency filter in rather than just having it on or off. But yeah, we've got these nav meshes working, which is really cool. The faces weirdly adds a lot more than I thought it would to the game. Yeah, maybe there was an option to turn it on and off. Let's have a look. Fade. Could it be something to do with the shader it's using? Like, ooh, oh, it must make a new shader when it does it. Or could it be to do with... why would the fade not work? Okay, let's have a look at this script and see if we can see what it's doing. So, what's the setting that we're setting is like fade in duration. Okay, so we can look for every instance of fade in duration. So it creates a fade group. Fade equals fade group. Fade shader parameters, fade factor, fade, CB highlight. So it's making a shader. There is a readme. Let's press play. Pause it when the shader is visible. There. Pause. Go to the player. Figure out what material is used. Yellow. So it doesn't swap the material. It must. What does it? How does it do it then? That's weird. How is it working? Does it not have to generate that? What? Oh look, it's not actually in the scene. Is it a camera effect? Is it on the canvas? No. Cinema Machine, main camera. No. I'm gonna have to read me. It's gonna have to click the read me. Did I install that? Highlighter Plus. Runtime scripts, highlight effects. Resources. Okay, here's the materials. Highlight plus geometry, just depth. Blocker overlay. Glow. Outline. Target. Gonna have to open up the documentation and see what the documentation says. Fading. Fade. Wow, it literally just says, applies a lerping effect for the given duration. And that's literally all it says about fading. There's no more information. Unity. Apparently there's an asset somewhere, like a render asset or something. Yeah, and it's on here or something. Bloom. Oh, okay. What's this do? Highlight plus render pass feature after rendering transparents. Do we want to do it after rendering transparents or before transparents? And what does clear stencil mean? Clear stencil. Oh, that's if other assets collide with it. What about the render pass thing? Render pass. After rendering transparents. There's no mention of that. They've got an email address I can get in touch with to ask. I'd rather not. I'd rather just figure it out. Well, let's just edit this and see. Okay. So, these are the shaders. What did it say the global shader property was? It was called like, was it just called fade? Shader parameters, fade factor. Find all references to fade factor. Shader parameters, fade factor. Go to definition. Equals HP fade. Copy that. Find anything that mentions HP fade. Okay. It's in here somewhere. Here. The alpha times equals the fade on highlight see-through shader. Is it on any other shaders? Oh, the border one. See-through border. Okay, no more. So was there an option to make it see-through then? Might have figured it out. See-through. See-through. color blend. Okay. 0.1. Is there really any other choices? Does the alpha cut off? Let me just put that at like 0.5 and see what happens. I don't think that'll be it. Save. Play. No. It's really annoying. Where was it? That was on player. What does the overlay mean? Maybe it only does on some of the effects, and the texture maybe is not one of the effects. They will fade. Find. How do I like search the whole project for that? Find all. I guess it's only in 2 of the shaders. The highlight see-through and the highlight see-through border. We do have a see-through texture. And this texture, main text. Geometry see-through. I am using see-through though, that is what I'm using, literally see-through. See-through. Don't work, does it? Let's just one more time check what that was doing. Set global flow, fade factor, how much fade from 1 to 0, I suppose. Fade equals fade group 1. Oh, fading state. If it's no fading, it won't fade. So how do I find that fading state? Fading state. And where's this get referenced? By default it equals no fading state. And it's not serialized. Can I find fading state on here then? I don't see it. You'd think it would be here with the other fading controls. Let me just click debug mode to see. You see fade, yeah. Oh, could it be to do the camera distance fade? You have to have camera distance fade for the fade to happen. That seems weird though. Can't find no fade or fade. Alright, I think we're gonna have to give up on that because just can't seem to find it. Annoying. Okay, exit prefab mode, play. Well, let's just make sure and put it like at a really high number just to see what happens. So player, fade, let's put in like 10. I mean, I could put it even higher. I could do like 100. 100, save. Finds this setting. Oh, okay. Play. Exit prefab mode. start game. No, it's just instant that. So that's nothing to do with that. Okay. Alright, play. What should we do next? That was obviously a bit of a non-starter, but we've still got 40 minutes. Let's make the character... Should they turn towards the direction they face the shooting? They're aiming, maybe? If you are shooting, if you're using a mouse, they should always look at the mouse. If you're using a keyboard, they should always look at the last button you pressed on the keyboard. Or the mouse. Save. Oop. Have you always looked towards mouse? Let's go to the player and do that. Player character input.
Go to bed.
Alexa, stop. She's going to try and turn the lava lamps off, but they're not plugged in. So, quarter. Alright, so we could say intended shoot direction is the mouse position. This gets the mouse direction. So we know if you're clicking here. Is it normal to be able to use the keyboard or the mouse to shoot? That feels quite normal. I'm just debating whether to make it always look in the direction you're shooting or the direction you're walking. Let's just do walking for now. So we have our intended move direction. So we can do like private void rotate to direction. Rotate to face direction. And then we can do that here. Rotate to fade direction. Shouldn't it be face direction? And then intended move direction that. And then this takes a vector 3. Intended move facing direction. So this is unnormalized. So let's normalize it, I suppose. Intended move direction. Then we can do facing direction dot normalized for this bit. So target rotation equals look direction, facing direction normalized with vector 3 being up as the up direction, and then transform rotation equals target rotation. We kind of want it to lerp towards that though. Lerp to target rotation. Yeah. And then we'll have here facing turning speed. We'll add that as a new control. Serialize field. Serialize field. Turning speed equals 10. And that's a float. Cool. So the character now should turn and face whatever direction you are moving in. Play. Exit prefab mode. Start game. Okay. It's not it is kind of smooth, yeah, it's just it only does it when you are moving. I can fix that though. The only weird thing is now you can shoot like out the back of your head. But how would you handle the situation where like maybe you should always be facing the direction you're shooting, and if you're not shooting but you're running, then face the direction you're running. So this looks fine. It's just when you start shooting, then it starts looking really weird that you can shoot behind you. Okay, so let's edit this. This we want to like save the previous moving direction basically. Private vector 3 facing direction equals vector 3 forward, sure. So if the magnitude is higher, else then facing direction. But we could just do it so that if the direction is more than or equal to 0.1, then set that. Otherwise, just continue as you are. Or, not that. What do I call it up here? Facing direction. Facing direction. And I call it facing direction here. So maybe I change that to like last facing direction then. Oh, it's got an underscore. Okay, so yeah. Underscore facing direction equals facing direction, and then here we'll use the underscore one. Cool. Save. So now if you stop moving, it won't update the direction to look, but it will keep moving towards the last direction. So yeah, if I press like left and right, you can see it turns to face that direction even if I stop moving. Cool. And if I'm not it's weird, isn't it? It's like if I shoot, I should look the direction that I shoot. Or should I look the direction that I'm aiming? No. I should look the direction that I shoot and then have a timer that counts down. And if you're not shooting after the timer, go back to looking at the direction in which you are walking. So I will save here a private vector-free shooting direction. Vector3.forward and private float last shot time. Basically. Well, you are at least, we know you're trying to shoot. Cool. So private float cool down between looking at shooting direction equals, let's just call it 1 for now. Okay, so now we can use this to basically, if we shoot and we set this, we're setting an intended shoot direction. So we can also save not that. Time, last shoot time equals time. Oh, we could change that to time since shot. Rename time since shot equals 0. And then we put that up here as well. Okay. And we also want to set the shooting direction equals intended shoot direction. Where's this? Or, okay. This is going to get really confusing, but we don't need that. We don't need the shooting direction. We just want to do yeah. Here we want to do if facing direction equals intended shoot direction. And we'll do that here as well. And then here we'll do if time since last shot is more than or equal to the cooldown between looking at shooting direction, then check if the magnitude is more than 0.1, and if so, facing direction equals the facing direction. Else, time since last shot plus equals delta time, and then lerp towards whatever we're supposed to be facing. Okay, that's very confusing, but now what should happen is you should if you just walk around, you'll always face the direction you're walking. But if you shoot, you should face the direction that you shot for 1 second. And if I let go, it should go back to it needs to be faster than that. Fire rate. We need to get the fire rate from the shooter. We need a reference to the shooter, which we should have here. Shooter. So we can do cooldown private float cooldown like that. Return if shooter equals null, or fire rate is less than 0, sure, return 0, else return, would it be 1f times the fire rate or just the fire rate? It'd just literally be the fire rate, I think. Shooter.fire rate. And that fire rate in the shooter then needs to be public. Oops. Go to definition. Go to definition. We'll have a public float fire rate. Return the fire rate. Cool. Then it's actually like we want to be slightly above the fire rate. So if we go back to our player character input, we want to do basically like I don't like that I've done there. That's weird. Do I have to do that as a method, or can I just do that as a private float there equals there? Why can't I do that? Float is not a delegate type. Oh. Float. I don't know how you do this. I don't want this as a method. I just want to Let's do shooter.fire rate times 1.1. Yeah. Cool. Ta-da! Save. Get rid of that. Nice. Okay. Save. Play. So it should move in the direction you're moving, look in the direction you're moving. It should look in the direction you're moving, and then if you shoot, it should look to the direction you shot, and then go back to looking which way you move shortly after. Oh, nice. Look, that looks really good. So I'm shooting in this direction. I stop shooting, and I look up at the direction I'm moving. Woo. You've won. I won. Really good at the game. Alright, so let's try it with keyboard now. So if I'm shooting that way and then I move this way, it seems to work as well. Nice. And then if I had a walking animation, instead of the legs like moving backwards and forwards, if it just kind of like bobs up and down and the legs kind of move up and down a bit or something, it would work any way you were facing. I can basically just, if you are moving, play the walking animation. If you're standing still, do not. Might work. If I had a walking animation, I mean. Cool. Pretty good. Did I play it full screen? I'll just play it full screen. Oh, you've got the code up. Alright, let me minimize that. Okay, let's go. Start. Woo. Okay, so it looks when I shoot. If I walk while I'm shooting, I keep looking which way I'm shooting. If I stop shooting, I go back to looking which way I'm walking. The enemies can chase me. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, let me run through here. Yum. Yum. Okay, just destroy these ones. There we go. There we go. Nice. Alright, well, I think that is some good progress for the stream. I don't think there's anything I can add in 13 minutes, because I'm a bit tired now. anyway. So I reckon we just call it there. Unless anyone can think of anything really quick I could add. Nah, I'm going to call it. Alright, thanks for watching. Goodbye. I will see you next week. And we will do more coding on the game.